Hello, it's James from Cool Smartphone here, and this week we have the Archos Oxygen 101 in for review, and it's basically a sort of mid-range budget rock chip Mali combination that Archos are so good at making these days. They've got umpteen different tablets in their portfolio. This one sits sort of near the top-ish because it has some metal in it, and it has a few neat tricks up its sleeve with the internal memory. But first of all, I'll show you a brief walk through around the hardware. Front, you have just basically a 10.1 inch display, reasonable sized bezels around it. At the top on both sides you have here and here front facing speakers. They're reasonably loud. There's no sort of amazing quality to them, but they're loud enough to listen to music in a room. So this corner here has the headphone socket. Along the top of the tablet there's a range of different ports. We shall have a look at them all. Here we have the micro USB slot, USB on the go slot, your micro USB charging slot, micro HDMI slot, another charging slot for like a proprietary Archos cable, volume rocker, microphone pin there, pinhole there. This end here you've got the power button on the to turn it off. On the back of the device there's nothing enormous really. You have some labels for what all the ports are. There's a 5 megapixel rear facing camera with a flash. The camera's pretty dire. Everything I tried to take pictures of wouldn't focus, was noisy, it's awful in low light. The front facing camera's just as bad, that's a 2 megapixel. The metal on the back is a bit weird because there's like a lip down here where it joins the plastic. It's the same on this side and this side here. And this lip basically gives it quite a harsh edge where you hold on, and you end up at all times sort of reminded by this hard lip on it. But yeah, that's the design of the thing. So the tablet itself, or the internals of the tablet itself, I mentioned earlier it was a rock chip processor. Well, it's a quad-core rock chip RK3288 processor to be precise, running at 1.8 gigahertz. There's a Mali T764 quad-core GPU, 2 gigabytes of RAM, 16 gigabytes of internal memory, which works out at about 13 out of the box available. There's a micro SD slot that's compatible up to 64 gigabytes when formatted correctly. The display's 1080p and the pixel density is 218 ppi. It's an IPS display. It's pretty much useless outdoors. I took it outside and couldn't really see what I was doing. I was trying to take some pictures and couldn't even see the camera controls. So it's pretty bad. Internal battery is 7000 milliamp hour. In light use I got 3 or 4 days out of it with a couple of hours screen on time. In heavy use you will get sort of 3 or 4 hours screen on time out of it, especially if you're gaming. It will gobble it up in a couple of hours, and to be expected really. So if you are going to be using it for gaming, try and keep it connected at all times. There's umpteen different supported resolutions for video playback. It supports up to 4K video playback apparently, but that's thanks to Archos' fancy codecs that they've been developing over the years. Android 4.4.4, and whether it's going to get Lollipop is another matter. They're only just getting around to actually releasing this device, and it's coming with KitKat, so as to whether it will ever get Lollipop is a whole other matter. One of the important areas that Archos seem to have done well with this is with the software. I'm just going to zoom in a little, just so you can see. Right, so yeah, where they've done well is with the software. Here we have a selection of Archos apps that are pre-installed, and Archos Video, Archos Music, Archos Remote, which is for remote controlling other Archos devices, and Files. These have it has a range of what could you say, network sharing functionality built in. It has capabilities to deal with SMB shares, FTP shares, or UPnP shares. So if you have media on a network storage like I have, then you can get to that really quite easily, and that's just built in. Same with the music player and the video player, it has that functionality sort of baked in, so you just browse to the network storage or your PC and it'll pull the files straight off it. So that's really handy to have. The other thing that is nice on here is something called Archos Fusion storage, which looks pretty dull, but basically you put a micro SD card in it, and it then reformats the card as internal memory, and you have then an enlarged internal memory, so you can install loads and loads of games on it, which is quite handy for a sort of mid-range device. It puts it up there with a similar sort of internal memory to the Archos Magnus devices. So it's quite a flexible device. I've been using it as a portable office kind of thing. I'll show you how I've been using this. So that is a Microsoft Universal Keyboard. Has a built-in kickstand on the back, and sits nicely in the dock. So yeah, it's been used like a mini laptop basically for the last couple of weeks. The other thing that with that is it gives you access to the ports on the top, so you can plug in a micro USB on the go kind of thing, a USB on the go socket, so you can then plug a hard drive in, or you can then charge it at the same time as you're typing. So it's quite usable as a mini little laptop. The other thing I've been using it with is a Moga gamepad. So again, put it on a stand or something, or on the keyboard stand, and you can play games, and it works like a little mini console. So great device. With the Fusion storage, it becomes really quite a flexible device, quite handy to have. You can bump the storage up and connect other drives into it at a later date. So it would make an ideal piece of kit to use around the house for the family, that sort of thing, because everybody could have their bits and bobs on it. You can even have different user accounts as well. So yeah, it's got the different user support. So it's all there. It's an ideal device, and there's only a few sort of shortcomings. What with the gaming, the GPU isn't the greatest, and the CPU isn't the fastest, so you may sort of experience some slowdown on the latest and greatest games, which may be a problem to some. And at times, jumping from app to app, there is some sort of lag and slowdown of transitions and things like that. But all in all, it's a solid all-rounder, and I'd happily recommend it for somebody at that sort of price point. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like it. Feel free to subscribe to us for future videos, and if you didn't like the video, please do let us know in the comments below, and we shall aim to improve in future. So thanks for watching. Goodbye.